This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix and clean and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all of your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's your choice. Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the giant Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops. CW Tree Trimming LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount. Iowa Technology Systems delivers professional IT services. From company networks to home computers, we keep you connected with reliable service you can trust. Enterprise IT services, quality computers, and local IT support, all designed to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit iowatechsys.com to see how our services can help you. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Get ready for podcast excellence with the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, me, John Bain. It's Friday, February 6, 2026, and I'm in Washington, Iowa at City Hall for the first of 3 legislative briefs sponsored by the Washington Chamber of Commerce. Today, District 92 House Representative Heather Hora spoke to the attendees, and I will now share the event with you.
Welcome, everyone.
There she is.
That's all right. It's always fun to catch up with your neighbors when we get here. But since it's noon, I'm going to get everything moving so we have time to hear from our legislators, our voters. That's why you guys are all here, not to listen to me. So my name is Michelle Redlinger. I'm the director of the Washington Chamber of Commerce. It's our honor to be able to host these legislative events in the community where we are a conduit to connect our voters with our elected officials. The Chamber of Commerce is a nonpartisan organization. So the events that we plan are to promote our businesses, the local economy, strong communities. We don't endorse any particular candidates. And one thing that I am excited to be able to offer this year is there are a number of dates that we've solidified with our representatives to hold some industry-specific roundtables. So these are for our chamber member businesses that might want to have a conversation in more depth and detail with anything that might be facing them. And so allow an opportunity to really interact and have some fantastic dialogue with our officials. So if that is something that you are interested in, please contact me and we can arrange a date, and I'm excited about that new opportunity. A couple reminders. The restroom is right outside around the corner. This would be a great time to silence your phone if you have not already done so. And I also want to let you know about change for today's event that's kind of a little bit between what we do with our candidate forums and our legislative briefings. So we're going to try to make sure that every person is heard. Everybody has an opportunity to ask a question or make a comment. So when you came in, there are 2 cards here. If you are a voter within Washington County, we ask that you use a yellow card, and you can put your comments, questions, concerns, anything like that on here. I have a new board member. Mason, you want to come on in here? Mason Fraker is a new board member with the Washington Chamber of Commerce. He's with Iowa Technology Systems, and he's going to help us collect these comments and questions. And after Heather gives her update on what she's working on at the Capitol, then we'll read through these and allow for some more in-depth understanding on what's going on this legislative season. I do want to apologize. I will tell you personally, my dad is in the ER right now, so I've got my phone on silence, but I might be checking that a little bit here just to make sure I'm up to date with what's going on. I'd like to thank our partners for being here. So thank you, our friends with the media. Thank you to our partners with the city and public safety for allowing us to use this room for our legislative briefings. And thank you all for attending. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. I think that is it. Are there any other questions at the new format? Okay, then unfortunately, Don Driscoll had a conflict and is unable to be here today. So we have Heather Hora, District 92 State Representative, and she's going to begin by giving us an update on what she's working on at the Capitol.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we have been fast and furious at the Capitol, so I wrote down some thoughts this morning, and so it'll be a little bit different. This will be my first one without Dawn, so thank you for you guys bearing with me. So we've officially been back in session for several weeks now. Since gathering in, we've been hard at work on behalf of Iowans across the state. The pace has been fast and the priorities have been clear. From day one, our focus has been on issues that directly affect families, communities, and local governments. One of the biggest topics for the last few sessions has been property taxes. Iowans continue to feel the pressure of rising costs, and members of the House are working on ways to provide meaningful relief while maintaining responsible budgeting and local services. This is a complex issue, but it's one we are taking seriously and approaching thoughtfully. We released our property tax proposal, I believe, week 2. Components of that bill include: it limits revenue growth to 102%. This means that the local taxing jurisdictions' tax revenue can only grow 2% year after year. Any new construction that occurs within will not count against the limitation for the year it comes online, and all levies for schools and debt levy are not subject to limitation. This new limitation does not affect any current rate and use limitations already in law. It delivers immediate relief to every homeowner by creating a new $25,000 exemption. Every residential property will not be taxed on the first $25,000 of the assessed value of their home. This provision is retroactive to assessment years 2026 and after. It revamps the informational mailer sent to every property taxpayer to increase the transparency and give taxpayers a better idea of where their money is going and what it funds. The updated mailer contains better information, better organization, and was created by the League of Cities. It clarifies that all bonds payable with property tax must receive a 60% affirmative vote, and it requires Council of Government to help local governments find efficiencies and cut waste. Our plan prioritizes the taxpayer over the taxing entity. It brings simplicity, it brings transparency, and most importantly, it brings relief. The property tax discussions and negotiations are ongoing between the House, Senate, and Governor. I am not sure where we'll end up. I don't serve on Ways and Means, but we will hopefully have something at caucus on soon. The first bill we passed off the floor of the Iowa House this session was House File 2104 to protect landowners from abuse of eminent domain for CO2 pipelines. Iowa landowners have been very clear: private property is a fundamental right and not a convenience for private corporations. The Iowa House has passed several bills that deal with this subject, but this bill is very narrowly tailored. House File 2104 prohibits eminent domain for the purpose of carbon dioxide pipelines. Committees have been active across a wide range of policy areas. We have seen extensive public input on agriculture and energy issues, including discussions around landowner rights and infrastructure projects. Public safety has been another major focus, with proposals aimed at supporting law enforcement and keeping our communities safe. One area of significant activity has been education. From our youngest learners through college, members of the House Education Committee and the House Higher Education Committee have been meeting regularly, hearing from Iowans and moving legislation forward. In higher education, our Higher Education Committee has advanced several bills out of committee that focus on key issues facing our public universities and community colleges. For example, the committee has advanced legislation aimed at freezing tuition increases for resident undergraduate students at our public universities, providing more predictability for families planning for college costs. We moved a bill out of committee that would require the University of Iowa to invest in childhood cancer research, something they are not currently doing. Other proposals would reform core curriculum requirements at state universities, including adding survey courses on American history and government. Members also moved forward bills that would change how university presidential searches are conducted and how degrees are structured, and that would permit community colleges to offer certain bachelor's degrees in areas with workforce needs. These discussions have drawn interest and debate from stakeholders across the state as we work through how to best support both quality and affordability at our colleges and universities. On K-12 education, the House Education Committee has also been very active. Dozens of bills have been assigned to that committee, covering a broad range of topics, including proposals related to education funding, which we have been talking about, a 2% increase in SSA, which would be an increase of $31.7 million. We are also working on bills that would adjust curriculum, graduation requirements, taking cash at extracurricular activities, limit the amount of time that can be charged students to limit the amount that can be charged to students that attend those extracurricular events, measures aimed at expanding career and technical education pathways, and more. Several of these have already been heard or advanced through subcommittee and full committee, moving them closer to potential floor consideration. Across both K-12 and higher education policy discussions this session, we've been striving to balance local control, academic excellence, affordability, parental and teachers' rights, and workforce alignment so that Iowa students are prepared for success in a rapidly changing economy. In agriculture, we passed the Iowa Farm Act, which came from the Iowa Department of Agriculture. This bill includes 3 financial provisions that will have immediate impact on Iowa farm country. The Farm Act will eliminate the property taxation of ground storage tanks with a capacity of 91,000 gallons or less, ensuring these tanks are not classified as real property. Second, a small but long-serving tax of 1/40th of a cent for every single bushel will be eliminated. This will result in more money in the pockets of farmers for each sale and less time and money spent by the first purchasers of grain in the collection of the tax. Last, for farmers planning to retire and benefiting those who will succeed them, the House Republicans and Agriculture Committee have passed an expansion to the law that allows farmers who have retired, no longer actively engaged in farming, to receive rental income tax-free, similar to other businesses' employees' retirement tax plans. Farmers' retirement plans are often and only the land, and this income would then be in parity with other retirement incomes. The Iowa Farm Act expands from sole proprietors to now include farm partnership, farm S-corps, farm trust, and farm estates. We also have bills in agriculture that address DEF on tractors and vehicles, and water monitoring reporting, which would require genetic testing on pollutants so we can find the source of contaminants. This work in committee is important. It gives us an opportunity to hear from Iowans before bills move forward. Not every idea that comes to committee becomes law, but it ensures transparency, engagement, and thoughtful debate in crafting the policies that will shape policies that move Iowa forward. As the session progresses, we will continue advancing bills through committee, working towards key legislative deadlines and negotiating priorities that deliver real results for our constituents. I also wanted to add on here that the House Republicans also passed or are working on an anti-crime bill that is one of the first bills, which is awaiting a bill number, is the Career Criminals Bill. This legislation creates a 3 strikes and you're out system for habitual offenders. These individuals will be facing mandatory minimum of 20 years in prison without parole once they have 3 strikes on their record. 1 full strike is any conviction for felonies and specific aggravated misdemeanors, including sex offenses, assaults, and certain thefts and drug possession. And a half a strike would be all other aggravated misdemeanors and some serious misdemeanors, including those involving assaults, drug possession, and theft. We've heard over and over from law enforcement that they continually are putting the same criminals back out on the streets. And so this is one way that we are trying to ensure that those criminals aren't running the streets of Iowa. So I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thanks for everybody showing up, and I look forward to answering their questions.
Pfeiffer Sawmill, your local home for kiln-dried lumber and affordable trailer decking to your specifications, all in Rome, Iowa, serving Mount Pleasant and all surrounding areas. Do you like to throw a hatchet? They've got your board. Call Ben today at 319-931-4544. Did you know that I'm not only one of your favorite podcasters, or even your favorite podcaster, but that I'm an author too? That's right. I'm the author of this book right here, Christy's Journey, The Beat Goes On. This is a true story about my daughter and my family. Back in June of 2019, my daughter Christy, at 29 years old, experienced cardiac arrest while at work at her job in Northeast Texas. The Lord lined up angels to save her, from her fellow employees to first responders to the doctors that figured out what was wrong. It was quite a journey. It turns out that Christy was born with a birth defect in her heart, something her mother and I never knew. Her pulmonary artery was on the wrong side of her heart. Christy was saved, and our entire family is eternally grateful and thankful. I would tell our story to different people, and I would say, the Lord has a plan for us, but I'm not smart enough to know what that is. So many times people would respond to me that I should write a book. Well, I'll tell you, it was the best thing that I could have done, and I hope you are interested in checking it out. If so, it's in lots of libraries in Iowa and in Texas. If you would like to have your own copy of our inspirational experience, you can get it online wherever books are sold, or go to baindesigns.com and get it for $13.57, which is over $3 off the retail price.
Alrighty. So just a reminder, if you would like to grab a slip from the hallway here, you can do so anytime here. And if you have one with a comment or question filled out, Mason Fraker here is going to be collecting them. And if you want to come up to the podium and start some of the questions, we will make sure everybody's voice is heard. Yeah, and if you do have a white slip and you are a voter outside of Washington County, you can also give that to us. The question, comment won't be read, but we'll pass that along to our legislators.
Alrighty. Song? Nope. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the chamber, we do appreciate you all coming out. We do appreciate your time, Representative Hora. We are reading the questions to be respectful of time and try to keep the forum going as efficiently as possible. I'm just reading these from bottom up. So yeah, first question. Do you support the House Life to ban smoking in all of Iowa's casinos? Washington County is one of the highest cancer rates. We need to protect our citizens.
No, I do not support the ban on smoking in casinos.
Next question. My mom and mother-in-law both died of cancer, and my father is a cancer survivor. Iowa is number 2 in the county, behind Kentucky, in cancer rates. Will you commit to increasing funding for 1, cancer research, 2, radon mitigation, and 3, cleaning our waterways?
Well, we've already actually passed 2 of those out of committee, so, one that I had mentioned, we passed out of higher ed, which is to require the University of Iowa to do childhood cancer research, which is, it was amazing to me to listen to the parents tell their stories, that basically we don't have funding for pediatric research in Iowa. So we did pass a bill out of higher ed, that will go over to the Senate, we'll see what happens there. Also for radon mitigation, we did pass a bill out of state government that has radon mitigation required for new construction. So we are looking at things like that. Yep.
Great. Next question. Iowa rates 50 or 51st on the economy. What are you doing to help farmers regain market loss to the Trump administration tariffs? What are you doing to promote diversity rather than relying on ethanol?
So what was the question? So what?
Iowa rates 50 or 51st on the economy. What are you doing to help farmers regain market loss to the Trump administration tariffs? What are you doing to promote diversity rather than relying on ethanol?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. So, if for those of you that don't know, we are farmers. I'm a farmer myself. My husband, somewhere in here, we farm row crop. Oh, there he is. Row crops and hogs as well. The tariffs from the Trump administration are working. Things are getting better in agriculture, and so I think we just need to wait it out. Most farmers believe that, and I think that we're seeing his dedication to our industry. An interesting thing is, you know, that this administration is more engaged on the ground level with people that actually are the people doing the work. It is a breath of fresh air to be able to speak to the Department of Agriculture and have them listen to what we say. And so I believe that farmers, we're in this together, and we understand that it's gonna take a minute for things to shake out, but we are much further ahead with this administration than we were with the last.
Next question. When I taught in Iowa in the 80s and 90s, Iowa and Minnesota, we tied for first spot nationally year after year. I was only high rates now come from the compensation think tank Heritage Foundation. What are you doing to prioritize education in Iowa?
Well, I serve on higher education, I serve on education, and I serve on ed budget. And so we have been working tirelessly on trying to not only bring about changes for teachers, but bring about changes for students as well. So we've been working on trying to work on classroom management within schools. That is something that we've heard over and over from teachers and superintendents, and we took the cell phones out of schools, which has helped tremendously. And so we're working on some teachers' Bill of Rights and getting it so that teachers have control of their classroom again, because right now the learning environment that is happening isn't one that's great for either the student or the teacher. So we're working on that.
Thank you. Next question. Do you support the bill to end required vaccinations for children attending Iowa schools?
We actually just voted on that the Wednesday. Yes, and what that really does is it removes vaccination requirements for students, but it pushes that conversation to be had between the parents and their pediatrician. It's not an anti-vax bill like it's been painted. It's just saying that the parents have a responsibility.
You're wrong.
We gotta trust the parents.
No, you're wrong.
You already can get exemptions from religious exemptions and other things, and so we're just saying that the conversation to be had about vaccinations needs to be between the parents and their pediatrician. So yes.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Why doesn't that hold true for trans?
Exactly. That's a wonderful point. That's an excellent.
Next question.
Yes, and just please be mindful of our time and respectful of everyone speaking. Thank you.
We're gonna alternate here just to allow us to read the questions in advance and familiarize ourselves, so I'll take this one here. Iowa consistently ranks near the bottom of mental health care. We don't have enough beds, enough providers, and accessibility is very poor. What are you doing to make healthcare more accessible?
I do not serve on HHS, but I would tend to agree with that. We have not caucused on anything, and so, but working with Jack and, you know, having those conversations with people that are actually in the mental health arena has been very helpful, and we will have some legislation. It's just, I don't serve on that committee, so I don't know what's coming forward.
So, a similar follow-up question. What rationale led to the Education Committee to vote on the bill to not require vaccinations for school children? Do not follow the lead of our National Department of Health and Human Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy, with measles outbreaks around the country. This seems like a really bad idea.
I think I already answered that. And we just think that the decision on vaccination should be between a parent and their pediatrician, and you can already opt out of vaccinations in schools. So that option's already out there.
All right, Ken Schroeder would like some information about water. Water.
What are you doing?
What are we doing for
They're
what?
cleaning up
I
the
just said,
rivers, there's ponds, lakes.
yeah, absolutely.
People have chemicals, E. coli and nitrogen in their private wells now. What are we doing to clean up water?
Well, I just said that Mike Nag came and presented on the benefits that we have seen. If you give me 1 second, I think I have his stuff in here. I know that we have $50 million that we have dedicated to water quality. And Mike Nag came and gave us a report. I thought I had it here the other day. But you know, we're working on funding those type of things, whether it's the buffer strips, the ponds, the cover crops.
Are you gonna make them mandatory?
No, we will not make them mandatory.
Or you gonna make the water clean?
The nutrient reduction strategy as it sits is working. So here's what we are doing. Okay, well, it is working. I'm gonna trust the Secretary of Agriculture and the studies that are being done by the Iowa State University, so I'm gonna trust their updates. So Iowa farmers are leaders in conservation. Iowa's #1 in the US for use of buffer and filter strips, grassed waterways, water quality wetlands, conservation tillage, bioreactors, pollinator habitat, terraces, and saturated buffers. These are all conservation practices designed to improve soil health. The state of Iowa invests nearly $100 million annually in water quality improvement, and is matched by nearly $500 million from the federal government. Iowa is nearly meeting its phosphorus reduction goal, showing that long-term responsible farming practices work. Nitrogen reduction efforts are now being accelerated using the same proven strategy, utilizing public-private partnerships and practices that reduce runoff and filter nitrates. So that's what we're doing, investing in our farmers who are doing the right thing by the
Who
land.
gave you that report?
Thank you. If you could, please hold your applause and comments as we try to, so everybody can hear
Just
and
read the
and
questions.
make things respectful, so.
You're wasting time.
It's a public forum.
Thank
We
you
can
all.
hear our voices. That's right.
First Amendment.
Next question. As a city official, we understand that you want to reduce property taxes. However, we are faced with trying to maintain services with decreasing revenues and increasing expenses. Has anyone in the legislature given any thought to our predicament?
Oh, I would say that's probably all they think about on the Ways and Means Committee. And we have a new chair, Carter Nordman, who's done a fantastic job. And him and Dan Dawson, who is the Ways and Means Chair in the Senate, have been meeting pretty much nonstop and discussing different options. It is a very complicated issue. I don't serve on Ways and Means, so I'm not a part of those conversations. But I know that they've been meeting along with the governor's proposal and trying to figure out a way to do it where it is least impact to the local economy.
Okay. This is, I would say, more of a comment here on Senate File 2154. A similar bill was proposed last year wanting to fine anyone giving mRNA vaccines, but the fine doubled from $500 to $1,000. Again, a slap in the face to local public health who receive threats of violence while trying to disseminate vaccines. mRNA vaccines are curing cancer, and this is foolish.
Okay. I don't know anything about that. I'm not on that committee, so I don't know where we are with mRNA vaccines.
Thank you. Next question. Please describe how the Governor's Veteran Services Excellence Program can be implemented. What is your opinion of the proposed property tax for disabled vets based on rating?
I'm not familiar with that. It's probably in Ways and Means, I'm guessing. I
So
don't-
are you for the tax based on ratings? Right now, it's 100%, the veteran's 100% rated, no property tax. But there's many veterans in the state of Iowa that have ratings from 10 to 90%. Would you be for that or against it?
I'd be happy to talk. I don't know enough about it to speak to that because we haven't discussed that at all. So it's not in a committee that I'm on. So I would be happy to discuss it with you and then you can let me know what your feelings are because
Can I
if
clarify
it
that?
supports, I'm for 100% whatever supports the veterans. So I can't answer it.
Another question that I had on that.
What was the other question?
The Service Officers Excellent Program. Right now, we have a county service officer that writes a claim for a veteran and sends it to the feds. Now the governor's saying that they want a statewide program, they want statewide training, when we already get that from the feds. Why does this governor want that?
Great question. I would be happy to talk to you about it because we have not discussed that at all. So I would love to discuss it with you and figure out a path forward and I can pass on your concerns to the governor.
All right, do you get the sign-in sheet?
Yeah, she has a sign-in sheet, so yeah.
My name and email address is on there if you care to reach out.
Perfect, I can do that.
All right, and then this is a request. Please do not vote to continue to vilify LGBTQ+ community nor take away control over state guidance laws.
Okay.
Alrighty, next, question, comment. Potential bill on 16/17-year rating in local and school board elections. If I have that right. It says potential bill.
Voting. I think it's on voting.
potential bill on 16/17.
Yeah, that's mine. For a potential bill allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in like local and school board elections. So that way, if they're taking civics classes in high school, they have a way to immediately apply that.
That's a bill that is out there already?
No, not yet.
Okay, okay.
If that was proposed, do you have any comments on it, or how do you think you might vote on it?
No, I don't think that probably they would lower the voting age for the school board elections, would be my initial, feeling.
Okay. I am furious on House File 2171, rushed through subcommittee and education committee without time to listen to experts. The bill was proposed by someone without any background in science, medicine, public health, virology, immunology, while the committee also ignored overwhelming opposition from those with those credentials. The U.S. recently lost our measles elimination status because immunization rates are dropping. My public health department spent over $10,000 on one measles case last year. Vaccines require a population-based approach, and we don't have the healthcare infrastructure to handle the ramifications of a bill as foolish and dangerous as this.
I mean, I think we already discussed the vaccination bill, right? So, nobody reached out ahead of time to really accept
I
that.
actually
You did,
did
you wrote me a
email you.
letter.
I
You
did.
You did.
Yes, and
Right, but you would be the only person, and so.
and I can tell you that medical professionals on my board of health who actually do, one of the top pediatric infectious disease doctors sent you a message on this bill, provide comment on this bill. One of my medical directors who actually helped Grassley pass the bipartisan vaccine injury bill in 1986 provided feedback on this bill. This went through so quickly. 12:45 was the subcommittee. 1 o'clock was the education committee. You do not want to listen to people who have the knowledge and the expertise and understand the financial implications to these kinds of bills. You have said repeatedly yourself that there are ways to get vaccine exemptions. We have already seen it's so much easier to get a vaccine exemption than it is to actually get a vaccine, and now you want to mandate that public health agencies give out information on how to get vaccine exemptions. That is anti-science. It does not make any sense. We don't
I
have.
appreciate your opinion.
That's not an opinion, that's fact. That is fact. That is fact.
Science.
That is fact.
We need to trust the science.
That
Vaccines
is
don't
fact.
work like blood pressure medication. They need to be used across the
It is
population.
fact.
I appreciate,
This is-
I appreciate your opinion.
You want
That
us-
is a fact.
You want us to trust farmers, why don't you trust scientists?
Right.
That is fact.
You're not expressing it.
No, you don't.
Okay, Mason?
No.
I am out of questions over here.
What about us?
What about the white papers?
Are you a voter within Washington County?
No, we
No.
live in Johnson County,
But we came
we're
here
in
to
her
s-
district.
No, we're not in her district, but we're in Dawn Driscoll's,
She's our state
district.
rep, 92.
No, we're 91.
All right, so House File 2287. This is foolish and unnecessary. Millions and millions of vaccines have been given since the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act went into effect in 1986. Since that time, only 8,700 people have been paid out. This only puts children at risk and makes providers unwilling to stay in our state. You have the House File 2287.
I'm happy to give you a copy of it if you would like it.
You want to go in hospital?
No, it just dropped.
Is it in education?
It is not.
Well, so it wouldn't be it's not in my committee.
But it's
Okay.
something for you
Well,
to
it's
think about.
amazing, you might have an opinion about it, but.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I don't, is this an HHS, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Yeah, I can give this to you know, if you have opinions, I can give it to Representative Harris and, you know,
I
we
would
can
be happy to
discuss it.
email him, that would be
Okay,
wonderful.
that'd be
Thank
great.
you.
That is the chair of HHS.
And I'm not sure if this one was already asked, when I taught in Iowa in the 80s and 90s,
Yes.
Yeah.
it was.
that's what I thought it was. Okay, those are the question and comments I have. Is there any others? There's time, if you wanna go ahead and read the white one, that's fine.
All right, this next question, will you support keeping and staffing the State Historical Library in Iowa City?
Yes, I will, absolutely. It's interesting that you bring that up, because, we've had this conversation. I understand that, they wanna go back on a deal that was made when we moved the capital to Des Moines. And if we don't change the law, it is already in code that has to be maintained in Iowa City. So that is where I stand on that. I think that we just need to leave code where it is and keep that maintained in Iowa City.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Yes. Thank you. Have another one come up. Next question, state should not dictate maximum public schools can change for private school, I'm sorry.
Students.
State should not dictate maximum public school, assuming funding, can charge for private school children extracurricular activities. Are schools receiving additional aid to offset serving private school students?
Mm-hmm. Okay, is that addressing like allowing
Yes.
private school students to do sports?
Yes,
Yes.
extracurricular activities such as choir, theater, all level of sports.
And you're against that?
My issue is you're reducing public school aid. You are paying, we have spent $1 billion on the voucher program and reducing public school aid. Now you're asking for an additional gift to the private student who wants to extracurricular activities, and I heard you say in your opening statements, Heather, that there was going to be possibly a limit on what schools, public schools could charge for a fee for the private student to participate in these extracurricular activities. Did I
You
misunderstand?
misunderstood. So what we're doing, so, there are schools, this is almost one of the things I hear most about, but there are schools in Iowa that are only allowing people to buy tickets online. You're not allowed to pay cash. So I ran a bill out of education that requires schools to take cash for people coming to watch your student play basketball, volleyball, whatever that may be.
All right.
So we've also heard from parents and other people within the communities that don't like the fact that the schools are charging their students. So say, I'm just using this as an example, so say Mid-Prairie, Washington, whatever, when their students buy a ticket, they pay $7, okay, to get into whatever the activity it is.
So this is all about admission fees. It's not about participate.
Right, it's about admission fees. It's about not charging students that go to that school so much to go there, because those students should be able to go and watch their classmates play game, whether it's basketball, football, whatever it may be, for the school spirit part of it, because people have noticed that there's less and less students in the stands. And part of that reason could be because of the amount that they're getting charged to attend. So what this would do would be to lower that and put a cap. I know it should be done at the local level. I understand that it should be like a no-brainer for school boards to lower that price, but it isn't. So
before you did that, you said it could be, so did anybody do a study to find out if that was the reason before you made the law? Or did you just make a law?
I have 3 children that go to school in the Washington public school system, and many other friends that have students at Highland and Mid-Prairie. I mean, maybe a non-scientific study would be to look in the stands and see that there aren't students there.
Okay, well,
I'm not
that's an
arguing with you.
observation,
I'm not-
but, so
okay.
we're making laws on feelings.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Okay, so we're making laws on feelings. Okay, great. I'm just,
You're buzzing.
thank you. So are you.
I just
Laws
have
on
another
feelings.
question come back.
Great.
Ranked choice voting, RCV, has been banned in Iowa for almost a year, despite many considering it as a better form of voting compared to first past. If there was a motion repealing this ban, would you vote on it?
No. Repealing the ban on ranked choice voting? No.
Yeah. Why?
Because it's not the right way to vote.
Statistically, it's more correct.
My answer is no.
Okay.
Next.
So again, anti-science, okay. All right, good. Good
Okay.
to know.
Are there any other comments or?
You know, actually, I would like to bring up one more.
Okay, I'll let you sort
Yeah,
through
do
it
that.
here.
Yep.
So I appreciate everybody coming, bring their questions, comments. I know that these are connected to personal issues that you guys are very passionate about. I appreciate those of you who were respectful. We're trying to figure out a way to get to as many people to be heard as possible. And there's not one process that is going to work for everyone. Similarly, Heather is working within her committees. She's familiar with those discussions most until everything starts passing through committees, and then she gets involved in some of the larger discussions. So I do appreciate your guys' respect and understanding as we try to communicate what she's working on and aware of right now. Heather, are there any other comments? And
Yeah, no, I appreciate everybody coming out, and you're absolutely right, some people don't understand that, so I am the assistant majority leader. I also serve on agriculture, education, ed budget, higher ed, and state government. And so within those committees is where you do your work. And then when you pass the bills out of those committees, they then come to caucus when you talk about them as a whole. So most times you're so focused on whatever committee you're in that you don't have time to understand what's happening or work on what's happening in HHS or any of the other ones. They kind of do that, then we, as they would say, we caucus things to death, and that's where the good stuff happens. The other thing I wanted to bring up that I didn't bring up was we just released our Iowa Skilled Workforce Act that will be running through higher ed. Our chair, Taylor Collins, is going to run it. It's pretty exciting. And this legislation focuses on two main areas. The state funding investing in growth. It increases the 84E Apprenticeship Act funding from $3 million to $4.5 million. This funding provides annual financial assistance to existing registered apprenticeship programs across the state. We hear more and more and more from that we need more workforce. So this is something we're going to try to do to get more workforce. It creates a career training physical expansion program. This provides a financial backing to build a new state-of-the-art facility at community colleges within both union and non-union private sector programs. It provides local flexibility and empowers experts. It removes red tape for teachers, allowing veteran tradespeople with 3,000 hours of experience to lead classrooms. It empowers community colleges to set parameters for the last dollar scholar program, ensuring they can adapt to the specific needs of their local high school, high demand industries. Encourages pre-apprenticeship programs in K-12 schools to show students a clear path to success before they even graduate. And it codifies the 3-to-1 ratio for plumbing and HVAC to match the electrical trade, create a consistent, proven framework for safety and quality. And that last one is a big one because HVAC and plumbing both are two trades that have been asking for help. And so this is something that we feel is common sense, can actually move people into the workforce, and can really create great jobs for those in Iowa. So that's, I forgot to mention that. We just put that out this week, and so again, with that, I appreciate everybody coming.
Another question.
now, Heather has, until 1 o'clock, so, that last question, they can go and they can, bring that to Heather here. So thank you all for coming, we appreciate it. Our,
It's quarter till. 15 minutes.
well, okay, do you wanna do a couple questions publicly
fine.
here, or?
Fine,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
All right, next question. Every agency and jurisdiction has limits to its power and authority. What limit do you support on ICE and Department of Homeland Security powers and enforcement activities in Iowa and our communities? Also, what support do you encourage for our immigrant neighbors, both documented and undocumented?
Well, the first, what was the question?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, like,
No, I can repeat it. Every agency and jurisdiction has limits to its power and authority. What limits do you support on ICE and the Department of Homeland Security powers and enforcement activities in Iowa and our communities? I can read the second one after that.
yeah, what limits would I put on ICE? Is that what the question is?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're doing their job. If-
Oh.
So as long as I would hope that they work with local law enforcement, and that's, they're doing their job.
Next question, with a large amount of money going into the voucher, the school voucher system, let's get that pot of money audited. Let's follow up on how much the private schools have raised tuition since the beginning of the school voucher program.
Yes.
That wasn't really a question, it was a statement, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Do you think we should audit the voucher program? Should we have an audit over any of that money?
Should we have an audit? I think we should, if it was up to me, we could probably audit local governments, we could audit schools, we could audit, everybody should have an audit.
They do audit local governments. We get an audit every year. Yeah, but I think right now, what they're saying is that the state auditor is not allowed to audit the money that has been given to voucher programs. And the question is.
We don't have a voucher program, we have scholarships. They're educational scholarships.
Okay, so I think the question is, would you support how that money is being utilized and the corresponding increase in tuition to private schools?
I don't know that there is a corresponding increase to private schools. Are you saying to study that?
Yes.
So private.
It wouldn't necessarily need to be an audit. You could just look at what the prices are across the state. Is that what you're saying?
Both things.
But it's a yes and. So yes, we have seen private tuition
I
increase.
haven't looked into it.
Okay, so
Would you
I
support,
would you
I
support?
could inquire.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that, and then auditing how those scholarships are being used is, I think, the question and request from that individual.
We would just have to look to see what that would entail.
Thank you.
No more questions, so you appreciate you all coming out and taking your time.
Yeah, thank you.
He's got a question here.
I would really, speaking from a religious pastoral leadership perspective, I tend to ask the same kinds of questions. I had two parts to the question. One is the limitation on enforcement powers. You said you don't support limits on enforcement powers.
Right.
The positive side, I do want to know, we have a lot of neighbors who are vulnerable and living in fear, being run over, all kinds of different kinds of people, but particularly immigrant workers of various documentations. What supports do you encourage for those neighbors, practically and philosophically, if you wish? If you're willing, I know it's two questions, it's a little bit of a cheat, but I've come for 3-4 years now, and I keep asking the same thing, and it's vitally important to my faith community and to my neighbors. What support do you have? Would you encourage? You can, personally, legislatively, municipally, whatever, for our neighbors who have mixes of documentation status, working here and living in the community, going to school,
Living in fear.
Well, then I would probably work with the local officials to try to get documentation status approved. I mean, I don't know what you're asking me. Aren't there, I mean, there's people out there that are helpful in trying to figure out who is here legally, not legally, those type of things. So I would reach out to those organizations.
I am those organizations. And it is, for decades, it's not just this administration, it's been this way for a long time. It's a bipartisan thing to say the immigration system is broken. So my question is, I know you're not a federal legislator, and most of that is federal law. But in the meantime, until such a time as federal law is fixed, what can we do to stopgap measures? Our legislation's statewide, countywide, locally, to support, or individually as families, if we need, to support, neighbors who are here regardless of their legal status. I'm looking for practical, I believe, yeah, sorry, I'm dominating too much time.
You're fine. Go for it. Go.
Good question.
Go for it.
Vital.
I'm not, like you said, I am not part of the federal government, so, if you're here legally, then you have legal status. If you're here illegally, then you don't have legal status. I don't know what to say more than that.
Okay.
So Iowa has a workforce problem, right? You've said that. Most of the only people that are moving into the state right now are people from other countries. People who were born here are leaving the state.
Okay.
For purposes of economic development, don't you think we should be doing as much as we can to keep our immigrant neighbors here so they can be part of the workforce?
We're all for legal immigration.
Yeah, 100% for legal immigration, yeah. But no, I'm not for illegal immigration.
But Iowa needs immigrants.
Not illegal immigrants.
Correct.
As a faith leader, I don't care what your legal status is. If you are a
That's-
criminal
you
who's
as a
had
faith
3
leader,
strikes,
that's fine.
if you are not here legally, if you're an asylum seeker waiting, like, our call is, I thought part of the American ideal is justice, from the church call, grace and mercy to all the people who are in my neighborhood, strangers near and far. Like, doesn't matter, it does matter to me legality, but regardless of legality, we can't, I don't want to rant.
So I would say that we have a difference in opinion here. I think Heather has answered the question, and I appreciate you all.
One last one.
We got
Go ahead,
it.
You're on we can make it. You're on the education and the higher education committees. What are your qualifications on that, and what's your education?
What are my qualifications? Well, I'm a mother, right? So I've got 3 kids that are in school.
Okay.
What are the qualifications you think someone needs to have to be a legislator in Iowa?
You have to have an idea how education works.
I do know how education works. I am a student of the public education system, right? So all you need to do to understand how education works is to go and witness what's happening in the schools. I don't know what are you trying to imply? That I'm not worthy to be on the education committee because I'm solely a mother? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what
You
I'm
know,
saying.
because that is a misnomer, because by watching my children grow in the Washington public school system, I feel like I am educated on what's happening. I meet with the school boards, I meet with the superintendent, I go to their games, I talk to the parents. There's no greater gift than be able to talk to parents of other students and figure out what's happening in schools. So I'm kind of insulted by the idea that you're saying, what are your qualifications for being on the education committee?
He said the higher education committee.
What's the difference? One deals with the Regent universities. I am overseeing the taxpayer money, trying to understand
Okay.
what.
Wow. I'm
Yeah, I know you are.
I'm,
I get it. I got you.
I just heard a question responding to a question?
He was questioning what my qualifications were
No.
to be on those committees.
No, that's what
I
you
don't know.
assumed he was doing.
That is exactly what he
actually
said. What are my
asked.
qualifications?
He actually asked.
All right.
We're done.
No,
Thank you all.
I'm
This
not.
concludes our
No, she
legislative
wanted to
briefing. We
argue.
appreciate you
I mean,
all
she
for coming.
literally
Have a
wanted
great
to
weekend.
argue. That's how she responded.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of Podcast Excellence. What did you think of today's legislative brief? Let me know in the comments right here down below. And please make sure to give this episode a like, follow, and subscribe. It is free. Thanks for watching, and thank you to my sponsors: Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming LLC, and Iowa Technology Systems. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.